The BMW 7 Series. Just when you think a car has everything, you realize you can unlock so much more with our wireless CarPlay and Android Auto MMI Pro. And today, we show you how to install it in this gorgeous V12 powered BMW. For those unfamiliar, BimmerTech's wireless CarPlay and Android Auto MMI Pro is a direct plug-and-play device that integrates either wireless or wired CarPlay or Android Auto on phones that support it, allows effortless screen mirroring, easy video and music playback off a USB device, an HDMI port for limitless possibilities such as streaming or gaming, and so much more. For a full video on all the features of the MMI Pro and the non-HDMI equipped MMI Prime, check the links in the description. And today we're installing it in this. This beautiful 2018 G12 is powered by BMW's N74 engine, a V12 making 602 horsepower and 590 foot-pounds of torque, which propels the over 5,000-pound beast from 0 to 60 in just over 3.5 seconds. Not only is it powerful and fun to drive, but sitting in the back is almost like booking a stay at a luxury hotel. You are in control of everything, and there's almost nothing this car doesn't have. Except wireless CarPlay and Android Auto and HDMI capabilities, and that is where BimmerTech comes in. Now keep in mind that while we are showing you the installation of the MMI Pro, the installation of the MMI Prime is identical except the HDMI cable. Now, just like we discovered on the G30 Hybrid, despite the fact that this car is so huge, there is such little room behind the panels, so we do need to get a little creative with the installation, but if you follow these steps, you'll be fine. Now, keep in mind that all of the tools you need and more can be found in our DIY Essentials Kit and our trim tool kits, both of which you can bundle with your order. However, if you don't want to do any of this yourself, you can find one of our certified installers near you. We have them in about 30 countries around the world, and you can find them on our website. And if you're in the Orlando, Florida area, well, then stop on by and we can do it for you. But without further ado, let's get to the installation with our new installer, Kevin.
Kevin's not here. Kevin's not here. What?
Kevin, take it away.
First step is to disconnect the battery. Pop the trunk and lift up and remove the floor panel. Next, use a 10mm socket to remove the negative battery terminal and set it aside. You might want to tie a towel around the trunk latch to stop it from closing on you. With a BimmerTech trim tool and your hands, remove this side panel here. Remove the two T20 screws holding the dash trim in place. Use a trim tool to carefully pop off the dash trim. Remove this plug on the side by pulling, and this one by pinching in the center and pulling. Using a pick tool might help. Pinch and pull these two. This last one is a little obnoxious, but start by pressing the tab on this white connector with a pick tool to slide it away. This will give you access to the last connector that you could pull up with a pick tool. Remove the dash trim and set it aside. With a trim tool, lift up and out these two metal retaining tabs. Whoops! Well, don't worry, if this happens, you can get it back later. With a trim tool or your fingers, use these two access holes to pop out the controls. Pull out this connector. A pick tool can help if it's tight. For this one, pinch in the sides and pull. Set the controls aside. Now for the head unit. Remove the two T20 screws holding it in place. Pull it out. Make sure you have your center console protected so you don't scratch it. Let's remove the screen. Remove the two T20 screws holding it in place. Pull the screen up, out, and away. Remove the video cable by pinching in the center tab and pulling it out. Pull the video cable down, and to get a bit more slack, use a razor to carefully cut back the tape holding another harness to this one. Pull the two apart. Let's move on to where the MMI will live, behind the glove box. Start by removing the footwell trim by rotating the two locking tabs. Pull the trim down and out, and disconnecting the single connector. Remove the trim and set it aside. The MMI will live right here. Now let's start getting everything run. Take the video cable you just freed up and tape it to a large cable tie. Feed it down into the side of the center of the dashboard so it'll appear in the passenger footwell area where the MMI will go. While we're in feeding mode, grab the BimmerTech MMI plug-and-play harness and tape the power connector end to the cable tie. Pull it through. Now let's feed both the video cable from the BimmerTech kit and the Wi-Fi antenna. Tape both ends to the cable tie and pull it through. Once you feed it through, take the other end of the video cable and work it up to where the screen will go. Grab your screen and plug it in. Put the screen back in place and reinstall the two T20 screws. Now let's move to the head unit. With the aid of a pick tool, remove this plastic clip here. This will give you extra room. Remove the quad lock by pinching in the sides and rotating the arm. Now we need to relocate the fiber optic cable to the BimmerTech harness. Use a pick tool to lift up this tab, and then pull the connector out. Snap it into the outer slot on the BimmerTech harness. Insert the OEM quad lock into the BimmerTech harness like so. Once in position, rotate the arm to lock it into place. Take the other end of the BimmerTech harness and plug it into the back of the head unit. Make sure the arm is out, push it in, and rotate the arm down to lock it into place. Take the Wi-Fi antenna and remove the backing of the double-sided tape. Stick it right back here. Push everything back into the cavern of darkness and slide the head unit back in. It's tight, so it may take you a few tries. Once the head unit is in place, replace the two T20 screws. Let's plug in your MMI Pro, or Prime, we don't judge. Grab your MMI and insert the AV USB harness, power harness, Wi-Fi antenna, BimmerTech video cable into LCD out, and factory video cable into LCD in. On the other side, plug in the 90-degree side of the HDMI cable. Confirm the dip switches are correct with the size of the screen you have. It will be on a sticker on the MMI itself and in your PDF instructions. Back up front, let's start putting things back together for a quick test. Plug the main controls back in place and snap the unit back in. Snap in those rather obnoxious clips like so. Next, plug in the start button on the dash trim. Head back to the battery and reconnect the negative battery terminal. Back in the car, press the start button and then hold down the menu button on the iDrive controller for a couple seconds. You will see the MMI Pro screen appear. Now you're good to start putting everything back together. Feel free to disconnect the battery one more time if you'd like, since you still have more plugging in to do on the dash trim.
Now at this point or any point after the installation, you're going to need to have your remote coding session for the aux input. What? Remote coding session for an aux input? Well, it's true that this BMW and most modern BMWs don't have physical aux inputs. However, the MMI does run its audio through that, so we need to code your BMW to make it think it has an aux input. And then once you do that, you'll be able to select aux input in your iDrive settings and you'll be good to go. And once you order your MMI, you'll be able to book your remote coding session right there on the same screen and also get the correct coding cable you need for the process. Now, to learn more about the remote coding process, click on the link in the description for a full video on that. Now, back to the installation.
Now plug in the other 36 connectors for the dash trim. Follow along. You may find it easier to remove the hazard light button cluster for easier installation. Snap it back in, and reinstall the 2 screws. Articulate the side panel back into place. You may find it easier to peel back the weather stripping first. Once it's snapped in, push the weather stripping back into place. Slide the MMI into place. And use cable ties to tidy up all of the slack. Do not block or otherwise have anything in front of the airbag. Leave some slack on the HDMI and USB cables to run them to where you want. In this case, we'll be using a little pass-through on the right side of the footwell panel. Grab the panel and run the HDMI and USB cable through here. Kevin opted to use a cable tie like so to keep them at set length. You can of course set this up however you'd like. Tidy up the wiring, plug the connector back in, and lock the panel back in place. Reconnect the battery one last time. Remove your anti-lockout trunk device. Replace the floor panel. And you're done.
So there you have it. Installation of an MMI Pro on a G12 is possible once you find the right spot. And now you have all of your favorite apps, shows, and games right at your fingertips and on your iDrive screen. For more tips and tricks, product reviews, and so much more for BMWs, Minis, and Supras, make sure you subscribe and don't forget to ring that bell. And hey, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok as well. Thanks for watching.